Chapter 31. Standoff. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Xia Xian had already spoken, and Jing Mo did not press further. The two of them, along with the dog, walked into the residential area. Feeling a bit awkward without anything to say, Xia Xian casually asked, "Why are you still out walking the dog so late?" Jing Mo paused for a moment and looked at Bobo. He said, "The servants and nannies don't want to walk it." Xia Xian fell silent too. She thought, it seemed that Bobo's temperament was not very good, and the wild nature of huskies was notorious for turning dog walks into a struggle. Looks like only Jing Mo could manage Bobo. "But you must be very busy with work, right?" Xia Xian asked again. Jing Mo nodded slightly and said, "Yes. So I can't take it out every day either. There's nothing I can do." Though Jing Mo's tone did not reveal any emotions, Xia Xian could still sense his subtle helplessness and guilt. Large dogs have a lot of energy, and their owners must take them out for walks to release energy and reduce stress. The dogs also need regular exercise to maintain a healthy physique, otherwise, they might gain weight, which was not good for their bones and muscles. Soon, Xia Xian, Jing Mo, and the dog arrived at Xia Xian's doorstep. As she opened the door, she asked Jing Mo casually, "Would you like to have some water?" Xia Xian knew that inviting a stranger into her home was not a good idea, but Jing Mo had done her such a huge favor today, and he even accompanied her back home. It would seem impolite not even to offer a glass of water. "I'll pass," said Jing Mo. He shook his head and then tugged on the dog leash, intending to take Bobo away. To Jing Mo's surprise, Bobo, who usually looked down on humans, began scratching at Xia Xian's shoe and showed a very reluctant expression. At the same time, it looked at Xia Xian with puppy eyes and made some whimpering sounds. In Bobo's mind, he was saying, "You, man, are you that resistant to beautiful women? Didn't you see a beauty inviting you inside? If you don't go, I still want to go in." Although Bobo could not understand human language, he observed Xia Xian's expressions and actions and sensed that she had just invited Jing Mo inside. Xia Xian did not expect Bobo to be so smart. At the same time, she felt a bit awkward. What should I do now? The passive function of the beast language system seemed to have made Bobo develop some good feelings toward me. The passive function of the beast language system needed close contact with animals to trigger, and Xia Xian had not gotten close to Bobo during their first time meeting at the pet store. Therefore, Bobo did not react unusually back then. Xia Xian watched as Bobo scraped at her shoe, feeling both amused and exasperated. On the other hand, Jing Mo found Bobo's behavior today really unusual, which was also embarrassing for him. He kicked Bobo's butt harshly and said, "Let's go." Bobo, in turn, glared at Jing Mo, whimpering even more loudly. Xia Xian was startled, quickly squatting down to pat Bobo's head, urging him not to bark. They were in a residential building, and it was already past 10 p.m. If Bobo kept barking, he would be disturbing the neighbors. Jing Mo suddenly realized a problem and thought, why did I walk Xia Xian all the way to her doorstep? I should have left when they were still downstairs. After calming Bobo down, Xia Xian said to Jing Mo, "Why not come in for a while?" Xia Xian thought it was inappropriate to stand awkwardly at her doorstep with Jing Mo and Bobo. Jing Mo fell silent for a few seconds, then slowly loosened the dog leash. Bobo reacted quickly and immediately climbed up, hopping over and entering Xia Xian's home. Once inside, Bobo saw Lael, who had been hiding at the bedroom door, and he took a step back, feeling somewhat anxious. Bobo's emotions did not seem very pleasant at the moment. In his view, how could a beauty like Xia Xian have such an ugly mixed breed dog? I was at a loss for words about her taste in pets. Bobo barked loudly at Lael. Xia Xian heard it say, "What are you looking at? I saved your master just now." If it wasn't for me, your master would have been bullied by the bad guy. It's fine if you're ugly, but you're useless. I really don't know how you met such a good master. You're really lucky. What are you still doing? Come over and massage my legs. Xia Xian was extremely helpless and went over to pick up Lael, leading him into the bedroom. She whispered to Lael, "Lael, that's Bobo. He really helped me just now, but don't take what he said to heart. Don't overthink it, okay? You play in the bedroom for a while, and I'll go talk to Bobo's owner." Chapter 32. A suggestion. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After comforting the dejected and guilty Lael, Xia Xian closed the bedroom door. When she went out, she saw Jing Mo sitting on the sofa, still holding the dog leash. Jing Mo was not looking around Xia Xian's house but had his eyes slightly lowered, focused on the coffee table in the living room. He appeared to be very well-mannered, and the light shining on his handsome profile created an indescribable sense of elegance. Xia Xian poured hot water from the dispenser and took out some snacks, placing them on the table. Even though she knew that Jing Mo probably would not eat them, as a host, she felt obliged to show some hospitality. Afterward, Xia Xian took out some dog treats she had bought for Lael and attempted to give them to Bobo. Xia Xian originally thought that Bobo, being the dog of a superstar, would have a rather discerning palate and probably would not eat the ordinary pet treats she bought. However, to her surprise, Bobo opened his big mouth and obediently swallowed them. Jing Mo's pupils trembled slightly. He had not expected that Bobo, who usually was a picky eater, would eat these regular dog treats without any coaxing. He suspected that his dog's reluctance to eat in the past was just a playful act to tease him. Xia Xian patted Bobo's head and then looked at Jing Mo. After hesitating for a moment, she said, "Mr. Jing, you helped me this time, and I don't have much to repay you. You said you're usually busy with work and may not have time to walk your dog. If you find it convenient, I can walk your dog for you in the evening. If it's not convenient, that's okay too." Xia Xian was not someone who liked to owe others, so after some hesitation, she still put forward this suggestion. She usually finished work relatively early and would take Bobo for a walk after dinner anyway. Walking one more dog would not be a big problem for her. Also, when Xia Xian thought about a husky not being able to go out for a walk regularly, she felt sorry for Bobo. As an animal lover, her sympathy could not help but overflow. Jing Mo had not expected that Xia Xian would make such a proposal. If it were someone else saying that, he would have immediately rejected it and thought that the person was finding an excuse to get close to him. However, the one requested was Xia Xian, and Jing Mo knew that she had no intention of getting close to him. He believed that she probably just wanted to repay his help. Jing Mo carefully considered Xia Xian's suggestion and found that it was quite suitable for him. Bobo liked Xia Xian, and he did not have time to take him out. With such a big husky staying at home all day, Bobo would always look at Jing Mo with pleading eyes, and its temper could get even worse. "Wouldn't it be too much trouble for you?" Jing Mo asked. Xia Xian guessed that Jing Mo probably found her suggestion acceptable, so she said, "Not at all." After pondering for a moment, Jing Mo said, "All right, Miss Xia, you can walk my dog for 1 week for free. Consider it as repaying me." "No problem," Xia Xian said with a relaxed smile. She suddenly felt that Jing Mo was not as cold as he appeared, he was surprisingly easy to talk to. She had originally thought that Jing Mo would suspect her of having ulterior motives, but she did not expect him to agree so readily. Jing Mo looked at the time and slowly stood up. He glanced at Bobo with a threatening expression in his eyes and said, "Since you've eaten, it's time to go." Bobo reluctantly wagged his fluffy tail, looking discontentedly at Jing Mo. Xia Xian crouched down, petting Bobo's smooth and healthy fur, and smiled, saying, "You go back with Mr. Jing first, all right. Tomorrow, I'll take you out for a walk, okay?" Comforted by Xia Xian's gentle smile, Bobo finally got up reluctantly and sulkily walked to Jing Mo's side. Jing Mo took out his phone and looked at Xia Xian, saying, "Let's add each other as friends, and I'll send you my address." After adding each other as friends, Jing Mo led Bobo away. Before leaving, he remembered something and said, "About that man's matter, if you don't mind, I'll take care of it for you." Xia Xian naturally did not want to deal with Zhang Liang. Upon hearing Jing Mo's offer, she immediately nodded and said, "Sure, thank you." After closing the door, Xia Xian breathed a sigh of relief. She really had not expected this night to be so eventful. Xia Xian still felt a bit frightened at this moment. If she had not coincidentally met Jing Mo, she would have fallen into Zhang Liang's hands tonight. She did not dare to imagine what would have happened then. In other words, Jing Mo was her savior. Xia Xian took a sip of water, calming herself down. She felt that she could not rely on others to save her every time. With a thought, Xia Xian immediately summoned the light screen of the beast language system into her consciousness. Chapter 33. Shopping. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Entering the beast language system's shop, Xia Xian checked her current affinity points available for purchasing items. She had a total of 1,050,000 points. Perhaps because Xia Xian was now a small internet celebrity with quite a few online fans, her human affinity points grew very quickly. In less than a month, she accumulated 1,050,000 human affinity points. Xia Xian became increasingly aware that it would be challenging to keep a low profile after binding with this beast language system. Whether it was spending in the shop, increasing basic stats, or upgrading her beast mastery, it all implied that she could not be an ordinary person anymore. Carefully browsing the items in the shop, Xia Xian finally found something that met her needs. Item name: the 20.4 Martial Arts Techniques Description. An entry-level martial arts technique, easy to learn, beginners can master it within 3 months. It consists of 20.4 forms with endless variations. Upon mastering, the user can reach the level of martial arts proficiency. Price: 400,000. The descriptions of easy to learn and beginner-friendly made Xia Xian very tempted, and the time investment required was not too long, which suited her well. As for achieving martial arts proficiency, that had nothing to do with Xia Xian. She did not plan to become a martial arts master, she just wanted to be able to defend herself. Xia Xian immediately purchased the 20.4 martial arts techniques. Afterward, she bought a few other low-cost items from the shop. After deducting her balance, a beam of light floated towards Xia Xian. Her head felt a tingling sensation as the beam disappeared, and the complete contents of the 20.4 martial arts technique were now in her mind, including descriptions of each form, practice tips, and combination techniques. Xia Xian breathed a sigh of relief, feeling much more at ease. She could have joined a real-world martial arts class like karate or taekwondo, but that would have consumed too much time. Xia Xian had to work and also meet the requirements for her beast mastery. She simply did not have the energy for it. With the items from the shop, Xia Xian would directly acquire all the knowledge in her mind after purchase, without the need for additional explanation. All she needed to do was spend time practicing, which would be much more efficient. Today, Xia Xian was too tired. She decided to start practicing the 20.4 martial arts techniques tomorrow. After purchasing the other items from the store, several floating spots of light appeared in front of Xia Xian. This unscientific scene startled her. Fortunately, there was no one else around at the moment, otherwise, it would have been troublesome. Xia Xian hurriedly reached out to catch those spots of light. The spots of light transformed into tangible items in her palm. A charming elixir, a basic divination talisman, and an enchanted puppet. Xia Xian carefully examined those items, her face full of curiosity. The charming elixir was a small porcelain bottle. The description said that once opened, the illusion gas inside could immediately spread. When ordinary people smelled the illusion gas, they would lose consciousness within 3 minutes and fall into a dreamlike state. The person holding the charming elixir would be immune to the gas, and one bottle could be used multiple times. The basic divination talisman could divine natural events within 3 months. The description explained the specific divination grammar and range. The talisman could only be used once. The enchanted puppet was a worn-out-looking puppet. Once activated, it could gradually induce the designated target's body and mind to enter a puppet-like state, losing their ability to act and think. It could be used an unlimited number of times. Xia Xian bought enchanted puppet because it could be used an unlimited number of times. This item was more expensive than the 20.4 martial arts techniques, costing her 500,000 affinity points. After buying all these items, her balance was down to 200,000 points, almost back to where she started the night before. Xia Xian put away the purchased items, checked the doors and windows, and went to rest in her bedroom with peace of mind. The next day, after getting off work from the zoo, Xia Xian went home to pick up Lael and then took him to Jing Mo's house. Jing Mo probably would not be back until late today, and when he returned, he naturally would not have time to walk the dog. So, he informed Xia Xian in advance that she could take Bobo out today. Arriving at Jing Mo's doorstep, Xia Xian entered the password on the smart electronic lock. After a beep, she pushed the door open and stepped into Jing Mo's home. Although Jing Mo was a big celebrity, his residential area was relatively low-key compared to other wealthy individuals. It was just a luxurious villa area in the Western District. However, Xia Xian speculated that Jing Mo probably owned more than just this one property. Chapter 34. A misunderstanding. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After entering the house, Xia Xian was greeted by a minimalist black and white interior design. If not for the large husky lying in front of the floor-to-ceiling window, she might have thought that no one lived there. It's so plain. Xia Xian thought. Xia Xian herself enjoyed buying various little things. After moving into her rented apartment, she decorated it with lots of decorative paintings, lace curtains, and floor ornaments, making her home vibrant and colorful, in stark contrast to Jing Mo's place. Xia Xian could not help but wonder if Jing Mo would find her decorations too flashy. Bobo seemed very surprised by Xia Xian's arrival and rushed toward her as she entered. It spun around Xia Xian while making excited barks. Xia Xian heard it say, "No way. Did that jerk manage to win you over? I can't believe he did it. Wow, are you planning to move in and live with us?" Xia Xian was speechless at what was Bobo thinking. She could not help but wonder if Bobo thought she and Jing Mo were together. Somehow, Xia Xian finally believed that the husky's thought process was truly something to admire. Xia Xian did not respond to Bobo's words. Up until now, Bobo did not know she could communicate with animals, and Xia Xian had no intention of revealing it for now. In fact, unless necessary, Xia Xian would not actively communicate with animals. She felt that the ability to communicate with animals through the beast language system was already against the laws of nature, so it was better to use it cautiously. Seeing the dog leash on the table in the living room, Xia Xian assumed it was left there by Jing Mo. She picked up the leash and put it on Bobo, preparing to take it for a walk. At that moment, Bobo started chatting with Lael, who was cowering in the corner, using the same arrogant tone as before. However, Xia Xian had already done some work on Lael's mindset before coming to Jing Mo's place, so the current Lael was not affected by Bobo's arrogant behavior. Moreover, after spending these days with Xia Xian, Lael had become more certain that it wouldn't be abandoned again and had gained a sense of security, making it immune to Bobo's words. In Lael's eyes, Bobo was just a rather annoying dog. It did not care whether Bobo liked it or acknowledged it. The most important person in its heart was Xia Xian. As long as Xia Xian liked it, it would be the happiest dog in the world. Xia Xian walked towards the door with the two dogs and suddenly heard a sound. The door in front of her was slowly pushed open. Xia Xian was startled, thinking it was Jing Mo returning. However, upon closer inspection, she saw a man in his 30s entering the house. He had a handsome appearance, a refined temperament, and a hint of shrewdness in his eyes. Sun Hu pushed open the door and was startled to see a woman and two dogs standing there. For a moment, he even thought he had entered the wrong house. He widened his eyes in shock. His first thought was, did Jing Mo secretly in love with someone else behind my back? Has he finally opened up? As Jing Mo's manager, Sun Hu did not actually oppose Jing Mo dating. In his opinion, Jing Mo was not pursuing the idol celebrity route but was instead following the path of a talented actor. Therefore, it was perfectly reasonable for him to be in a relationship. Jing Mo had a reserved and aloof personality, having endured too much in his heart. Sun Hu really hoped that someone could enter Jing Mo's heart and understand the real him. Has that person finally appeared? Was it the woman in front of him? Sun Hu thought. Sun Hu observed Xia Xian and felt like he had seen her somewhere before. You. Aren't you? Sun Hu pondered for a while before finally remembering, you're the panda caretaker, right? Xia Xian did not expect herself to become so well known. She smiled modestly, yes, I'm Xia Xian. I came to help Mr. Jing walk the dogs. I already informed him beforehand. Sun Hu nodded with understanding and looked down at Bobo. He was astonished to see the usually uncontrollable Bobo now behaving so well, showing no resistance at all. He could not help but wonder, is Bobo behaving so well because it knows Xia Xian will become the lady of the house? Seeing the complexity in Sun Hu's eyes, Xia Xian guessed that he might have misunderstood something. She took the initiative to explain, actually, I'm just here to help Mr. Jing. He has helped me before, and he's a really warm-hearted person. Warm-hearted. Sun Hu thought as he looked at Xia Xian with a strange expression. I had known Jing Mo for so many years, but why have I never seen that side of him? Sun Hu thought. He had even suspected that Jing Mo had emotional barriers and could not express human emotions normally. Chapter 35. Baked Buns. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sun Hu did not express his doubts and instead showed a polite smile. After a slight nod, he introduced himself, I see. By the way, my name is Sun Hu, and I'm Jing Mo's manager. After they got acquainted, Sun Hu did not disturb Xia Xian's dog. Walking and made way for her to pass. Once Xia Xian left, Sun Hu immediately took out his phone. He had initially wanted to message Jing Mo and ask him about this situation, but he thought this was a rare opportunity. Sun Hu wanted to bring up the matter in front of Jing Mo and see how he would react because Sun Hu was fed up with Jing Mo's poker face. For the next few days, Xia Xian's dog walking went smoothly. Aside from Bobo being lively and running around a lot, pulling her along, there were no unbearable issues. However, something interesting happened during one of their walks. On the second day of dog walking, Xia Xian decided to change the route to see some new scenery, so she took a different path. Along that road, there were many food stalls, and among them was one selling baked buns. The business was booming, and the buns were generously filled and crispy. When Xia Xian brought the two dogs to the baked bun stall, Leo stopped in its tracks and gazed at the buns. Xia Xian stopped as well and used her eyes to ask Leo if it wanted to taste a bun. She received an affirmative response. Xia Xian bought a bun for Leo and was about to continue walking with the two dogs. However, her other dog's leash was stuck suddenly. She saw Bobo staring at the bun in Leo's mouth, then looking at the bun stall, and finally directing its gaze at Xia Xian. Its eyes clearly showed grievance and dissatisfaction, saying, "Aren't you getting one for me?" Xia Xian was speechless. With Jing Mo's financial situation, Bobo must usually eat the best dog food. She could not understand how Bobo suddenly was tempted by the bun Lael was eating. But Xia Xian could not ignore Bobo's eyes, so she ended up buying another bun for it. The bun stall owner looked at Xia Xian, who had just bought 2 buns for her dogs, with a complicated expression. Realizing something, Xia Xian bought herself another bun, took a bite, and praised, "Boss, your buns are delicious." Seeing the bun stall owner relax, Xia Xian breathed a sigh of relief. So, with 1 person and 2 dogs each enjoying their bun, they continued walking. Xia Xian thought that the matter would end there. However, on the 3rd day, when she took Bobo and Lael out, Bobo insisted on going to the bun stall, tugging on the leash. Xia Xian was shocked and thought, "Is that for real? Bobo has fallen in love with buns." Jing Mo had told Xia Xian that Bobo was quite picky when it came to food. Helpless, Xia Xian took Bobo and Lael to the bun stall again and bought 3 buns this time. The stall owner was much more enthusiastic this time, thinking that both Xia Xian and her dogs could not resist the charm of his buns. He kindly selected the 3 best baked buns for Xia Xian. While it was not a big deal that Bobo had taken a liking to the buns from this stall, Xia Xian suddenly thought of something. "I had only agreed to walk Jing Mo's dog for a week. After that, if Bobo still wanted buns, what would he do? Should I ask the owner to personally deliver the buns to Jing Mo's house?" But Xia Xian had already asked, and the stall owner did not offer delivery services. To eat the buns, one had to come to the shop personally. With a glimmer of hope, Xia Xian hoped that Bobo would forget the taste of the buns after a week and fall in love with its various imported and precious dog food again. A week passed, and Xia Xian completed her task. Jing Mo even sent her a message to thank her for her help over these past few days. Xia Xian thought that the matter was over and that she and Jing Mo would probably have no further interactions. However, to her surprise, after the night without walking Bobo, she received a message from Jing Mo the next morning. "Sorry, Bobo was acting strangely last night. It refused to eat anything and kept looking towards the door. What's wrong with it?" After seeing that message, Xia Xian was shocked and felt helpless and guilty. She had kindly helped Jing Mo walk his dog, but she did not expect that it would lead to such an issue. Xia Xian speculated that Bobo probably wanted the buns. After all, it had eaten them continuously for several days and seemed to like them. Feeling somewhat guilty, Xia Xian replied to Jing Mo's message, "When I took it out before, it wanted to eat the buns from Vernicia Street. I bought some for it, and it ate them for several days. Could it be? It still wants more. Chapter 36. Part-time job. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On the other end of the phone, Jing Mo could not believe the answer he got. Baked buns. What does it have to do with Bobo? Am I dreaming or something? Jing Mo thought. For a moment, silence filled the air. Seeing Jing Mo's silence, Xia Xian became even more uneasy. She thought, "What should I do now? I thought Bobo could manage to live with Jing Mo, but now, after I took it for a walk, it seemed like they might not get along anymore." Xia Xian gritted her teeth and tentatively replied, "How about I continue to walk the dog for you?" On the phone, Jing Mo hesitated for a moment. He did not expect Xia Xian to say that. He was actually just thinking about how to deal with Bobo. Jing Mo fed it so much top-notch dog food, but now it was obsessed with ordinary baked buns. That made him suspect that Bobo had been toying with him all along. "Actually, I usually walk my dog, and I have plenty of time," Xia Xian explained. Xia Xian did not think it was a big deal to continue walking Bobo for Jing Mo. Bringing Bobo along would just mean a bit more exercise for her, which she could see as a way to lose weight. After all, Xia Xian thought it was her fault that Bobo had become addicted to eating baked buns. She felt a bit guilty about letting Jing Mo bear the consequences. After Xia Xian finished speaking, Jing Mo finally recorded a voice message on the other end. His magnetic baritone sounded even more alluring over the phone. Miss Xia, I appreciate your help, and you have already repaid the favor. I know you are doing this out of kindness, which is why you are willing to continue walking the dog for me. However, I cannot be so at ease about it. How about this? I can pay you by the hour for your assistance, treating it as a part-time job. What do you think? Jing Mo's proposal was very reasonable, and after a moment of contemplation, Xia Xian agreed. The problem was perfectly solved. Xia Xian not only helped Jing Mo, making up for the mess she caused by buying baked buns for Bobo, but she also earned some money on the side with this part-time job. As a big star, Jing Mo naturally had no shortage of money, and the compensation he offered her was very generous. Xia Xian even felt a bit embarrassed to accept it. After turning off his phone, Jing Mo looked at the listless Bobo on the floor, holding back the urge to beat it up. The door to the guest room opened, and Sun Hu, who had just taken a shower, walked over and sat on the sofa opposite Jing Mo, legs crossed comfortably. Though Sun Hu was officially Jing Mo's manager, their relationship was more like that of friends. Sun Hu would often stay at Jing Mo's place when he was busy with work, and they would occasionally play basketball or go for a jog together. Jing Mo looked at Sun Hu and thought for a moment before briefly telling him about having found someone to help walk the dog every day. Xia Xian might appear at his place more often, so he wanted to let Sun Hu know in advance. Sun Hu's eyes narrowed slightly, revealing a cunning expression. He looked at Jing Mo with a strange smile and asked, "Oh. Miss Panda caretaker will be walking your dog long-term, Bnoel. Jing Mo furrowed his brow and wondered, how did he know Xia Xian? Sun Hu suddenly sat up straight, leaning forward with a fox-like cunning look in his eyes, and said, Jing Mo, tell me the truth. Is there something going on between you two? Something going on? What something? Jing Mo thought as he looked at Sun Hu as if he were dealing with a lunatic. Jing Mo said, pack up your boring imagination. It's not what you think. Sun Hu shrugged and waved his hand. Alright, forget it. It's your business, and I won't meddle. Just make sure it doesn't affect your work. Sun Hu said it as if there really was something between Jing Mo and Xia Xian. Jing Mo pursed his lips, wanting to say something, but in the end, he remained silent. After taking on the part-time job of walking the dog, Xia Xian's daily exercise increased steadily, and she felt that her body and posture were getting better. She developed distinct muscle lines, appearing both graceful and strong. At the same time, Xia Xian's beast mastery was about to level up. Working at the zoo was convenient, and Xia Xian had easy access to various animals. Over the period, as she accumulated goodwill from the animals, she gained deeper insights into their habits and characteristics. It would not be an exaggeration to say Xia Xian had become an amateur expert in animal behavior. One day, Xia Xian was having lunch with her colleagues, and they curiously asked, Xia Xian, since you love all kinds of animals, why haven't we seen you visit the lion enclosure? The lion enclosure is one of the most popular exhibits in our zoo, and the environment there is beautifully designed. Chapter 37. Advertisement. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xia Xian's expression stiffened, unsure of how to respond. It was true that Xia Xian liked animals, but in her past life, she died in the claws of a lion, which left her with some psychological trauma. Xia Xian quickly came up with an excuse to brush off the question and continued eating. Just as she was about to finish her meal, her phone suddenly received a message from Lu Yuan, asking her to go to the director's office. Dovico, what could be the matter? Xia Xian pondered. She off her phone, clear her plate, and immediately headed to the director's office. Pushing open the door, Xia Xian saw not just Lu Yuan but two other people inside, both dressed in formal shirts and trousers. When the two people noticed Xia Xian, they nodded politely. Although their gazes were not entirely clear, Xia Xian could still feel them appraising her. "Mr. Liu, did you call me for something?" Xia Xian asked. Lu Yuan pointed to a chair, gesturing for Xia Xian to sit down, and then looked at the other two people in the office. He said, "It's not me who called you, these two have something to discuss with you." Xia Xian was a bit surprised and looked at the two individuals with confusion. The older of the two men, with a small mustache, stood up immediately and handed Xia Xian his business card. "Miss Xia, my name is Ding Bei, and I am the Executive Director of Creative Light Media. This is my assistant." Xia Xian quickly scanned the card and accepted it with a polite smile. She said, "Hello, Mr. Ding. May I ask why you are looking for me?" Ding Bei coughed, as if he had already prepared a draft in his mind, and smoothly said, "Here's the thing, Miss Xia. Some time ago, I came across your video account and saw you interacting with an Indian python in one of your videos. That scene was really beautiful. Thank you." Xia Xian adjusted her sitting posture, vaguely guessing that the man might have something for her to help with. "Indeed," Ding Bei continued, "coincidentally, our company is currently planning the promotion of Chang'an Group's flagship wine, Trimere." There was a hint of helplessness and exhaustion in Ding Bei's tone. He had come to find Xia Xian today because he had run out of options. Chang'an Group was a well-known liquor company and Creative Light Media's most important client. The annual promotion of Chang'an Group's Trimere series was a major project for their company, personally planned by the chief creative director. That chief creative director was very famous in the country and was known as a genius ad man. He proposed that this time, the advertising should reflect the theme of the relationship between humans and nature and then segue into Chang'an Group's Trimere series. Trimere was not only the name of the wine but also a type of snake. So, this advertisement required shooting with this type of snake interacting with people. The concept sounded fine, but in the execution process, they encountered many difficulties. After the plan was confirmed, the company approached several popular celebrity artists to negotiate, but as soon as they heard that they had to interact with real snakes, they immediately refused. However, at Chang'an Group's level, they could not just hire some unknown actors and internet celebrities for the advertisement. For a time, they could not find anyone willing to shoot the ad. Finally, a popular female actress agreed to try, but she took the opportunity to raise the price. After going back and forth for several days, they temporarily settled on a cooperation plan. But during the shooting, the female actress acted very stiffly, not daring to touch the Trimeresurus at all, let alone interact with it. This made the chief creative director very unhappy, and he lost his temper several times. The actress was a famous star and had her own temper, directly stating that she could just quit and told them to find someone else to shoot the ad. The pressure naturally cascaded down to the lower levels. The chief creative director blamed Ding Bei for finding such a poorly performing, unprofessional actress, telling him to come up with a solution quickly, either by resolving the actress's concerns or finding someone else. Over these few days, Ding Bei had been busy with this matter, neglecting sleep and with red eyes. Naturally, he could not resolve the actress's concerns. It was normal for her to be afraid of snakes, and her status in the industry made it impossible for him to exert pressure on her. As for finding someone else, if Ding Bei could find someone more suitable, he would have done so long ago. Since he could not find anyone before, it was even harder to find someone now. Just when Ding Bei was overwhelmed with anxiety, he came across Xia Xian's video and thought it was perfect. The content of that video was Xia Xian interacting with an Indian python. In the video, the Indian python behaved like a well-behaved puppy, without any aggressiveness, allowing Xia Xian to play with it in various ways. Chapter 38. Contract. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In that instant, a flash of inspiration crossed Ding Bei's mind, like a drowning person clutching at the last straw. He thought he should let Xia Xian shoot the advertisement. Xia Xian's current status was somewhere between an ordinary person and an internet celebrity. Although she could not be considered a big star, she was a panda caretaker, and what were pandas? They were national treasures. That instantly raised the level. Moreover, Xia Xian was beautiful, no less so than the top stars in the entertainment industry. Most importantly, Xia Xian was not afraid of snakes at all. Ding Bei was ecstatic and immediately wanted to contact Xia Xian. However, he quickly calmed down and decided to first talk to the director of the capital zoo about this matter. If the director agreed, the chances of successfully getting Xia Xian to shoot the advertisement would be even higher. Although Ding Bei and Lu Yuan did not have much of a relationship, he felt that Xia Xian shooting the advertisement would also benefit the zoo. From Lu Yuan's support of Xia Xian's social media videos, it was evident that he was using Xia Xian's popularity to bring more traffic to the zoo. After finding Lu Yuan, Ding Bei mentioned the matter, and Lu Yuan did indeed show interest. However, he stated that it would depend on Xia Xian's willingness and that he could not force her. During the break, Lu Yuan called Xia Xian over. After listening to Ding Bei's explanation, Xia Xian fell into a brief silence. She thought, so, Ding Bei wanted me to shoot an advertisement. Should I do it? Xia Xian was actually a low-key person, but ever since she bound the beast language system, she became more and more high-profile. Now, she was one of the fastest-growing bloggers on the live streaming platform. Of course, becoming popular had its benefits for Xia Xian. Not only did Lu Yuan increase her salary, but she could also exchange many useful items in the beast language system's shop using her human affinity points. After hesitating for a moment, Xia Xian nodded slowly, I can give it a try, but I don't have any experience in shooting advertisements, so if my performance isn't good. Upon hearing Xia Xian's agreement, Ding Bei was so excited that he almost jumped up. He quickly assured her, it's alright, lack of experience isn't an issue. Our company's focus is on presenting authenticity and nature in the advertisement. You just need to naturally interact with the animal. Then, Ding Bei showed Xia Xian pictures of the trimeresurus that would be involved in the shoot and informed her that the snake was a captive bred one with a very gentle temperament. The company would also provide her with safety precautions, ensuring that nothing unexpected would happen. As Xia Xian looked at the pictures, an ordinary person might not see anything remarkable, but after being bound to the beast language system for so long, she had developed some ability to judge animals based on their demeanor. From the appearance, the trimeresurus looked quite elegant among its kind, slightly plump in body shape, with no aggression in its eyes. It was highly likely to be a pet snake bred in captivity. Xia Xian nodded, indicating that she had no problem with it. Before coming to the zoo, Ding Bei had already prepared the contract. Seeing that Xia Xian agreed, he excitedly took out the contract and introduced the terms to her. As Xia Xian finished reading the contract, she finally realized another benefit of shooting this advertisement. She would receive a generous reward. Looking at the string of zeros, Xia Xian felt like she was dreaming. If she had to earn this much money on her own, she did not know how many years it would take. Miss Xia, do you have any objections to the remuneration? If you have any objections, we can discuss it further, Ding Bei asked cautiously. In reality, with a businessman's mindset, Ding Bei did not need to add that sentence. After all, for an ordinary person, such a high advertising fee was already quite good. But now, in Ding Bei's eyes, Xia Xian was his life-saving straw, and he had to ensure that she was satisfied with every clause in the contract. If Xia Xian changed her mind halfway, then he would not have a place in the advertising company either. Shaking her head, Xia Xian said, I have no objections. Ding Bei breathed a long sigh of relief. He immediately proceeded to sign the preliminary contract with Xia Xian, and upon seeing that contract, the exhausted face that had been worn down by staying up late finally revealed a hint of relief. After Ding Bei left, Lu Yuan joked, "Xin, with your qualifications, it would not be a problem for you to join the entertainment industry. Have you never considered it? If Xia Xin wanted to become a star, with her current popularity, there would be no shortage of entertainment companies willing to sign her." Lu Yuan always felt that he wouldn't be able to keep Xia Xin in his zoo for long. Smiling, Xia Xin shook her head and said, "Uncle Lu, don't tease me. I don't have such thoughts for now." Chapter 39. Shooting the advertisement. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sunday, inside the Creative Light Media Company's studio. "Isn't she here yet?" the photographer asked as he checked his watch. Ding Bei smiled apologetically and said, "The traffic in the West District is bad, but she'll be here soon." The photographer saw that he still had to wait for a while, so he sat down and chatted with Ding Bei. "You actually managed to convince Chang'an Group to accept a social media influencer for their advertisement." Chang'an Group's previous ads only featured A-list celebrities. Ding Bei's expression showed a hint of pride and said, "Chang'an Group has collaborated with our chief creative director many times and greatly admires his talent. When I mentioned Xia Xin to him before, he said that with her qualifications, she could easily become a top-tier actress in the entertainment industry." The photographer raised an eyebrow in surprise. He never expected that the legendary, genius adman would give Xia Xin such a high evaluation. Suddenly, a slim figure appeared at the door. Xia Xin had a little sweat on her forehead, and her breathing was slightly hurried. She walked into the studio, greeted Ding Bei, and said, "I'm sorry, I didn't expect the traffic to be so bad. Sorry to keep you waiting." "It's alright, you're not late." Ding Bei introduced Xia Xin to the photographer, and then said to her, "If everything's fine, you can go change your clothes and get ready. If all goes smoothly, we'll finish shooting today." Over an hour later, Xia Xin looked at her reflection in the mirror and felt unfamiliar with herself. Under the transformation of the stylists and makeup artists, she had a completely different look. For this advertising campaign, Xia Xin's character was positioned as a swordswoman in the bamboo forest. She was dressed in a traditional long robe with a blue and white pattern, and her waist was accentuated by a black waistband, highlighting her slender waistline. A bamboo-made hat covered the upper half of her face. The makeup artist did not use overly exaggerated eyeshadows and highlights, just simple enhancements to Xia Xin's natural features, as she was already beautiful enough. In addition, Xia Xin's eyebrows were groomed to be sharper, fitting the identity of a swordswoman. The photographer was stunned when he saw Xia Xin. He said, "Your temperament is really good, not at all inferior to the other one." The photographer was referring to the A-list celebrity who had participated in the previous advertisement. In his opinion, Xia Xin's overall feeling was more in line with the role's positioning. Soon, the formal shooting began, and the trimeresurus was held by its caretaker and gently handed over to Xia Xin. The owner of Trimeresurus knew that although the snake in his care was gentle in nature, it could still get nervous around strangers. However, he was surprised to find that after the snake came into contact with Xia Xin, it did not show any discomfort or nervousness. Instead, it obediently climbed onto Xia Xin's arm and lightly rubbed its head against her wrist. As Xia Xin gently caressed and played with the Trimeresurus, she worked to bring the snake back to its most lively and spirited state. Since Xia Xin had received such a high remuneration, she naturally did not intend to take it lightly. She wanted to achieve the best possible advertisement effect. With Xia Xin's reassurance, the Trimeresurus quickly adapted to the unfamiliar environment of the studio and gradually became more lively. The surrounding staff were shocked as they watched Xia Xin interact with the Trimeresurus. They never expected that a panda caretaker like Xia Xin would be so skilled at handling snakes. In fact, although Xia Xin was not the owner of the Trimeresurus, with the enhancement from the beast language system, she could now be called a snake tamer. Miss Xia looks very professional, worthy of being the caretaker at the capital zoo. The owner of the Trimeresurus remarked to the familiar staff nearby. After a simple adjustment of the conditions, Xia Xian began to perform according to the creative plan. Although she had not studied professional acting, luckily, shooting an advertisement did not require much acting skill. She just needed to immerse herself in the interaction with the small snake while also embodying the identity of the swordswoman. The shooting went very smoothly and was quickly completed. After changing her clothes and removing her makeup, Xia Xian bid farewell to Ding Bei and the others and left. After Xia Xian left, the footage of the advertisement shoot was sent to Creative Light Media's chief creative director, Luo Ao, that very evening. Chapter 40. The Husky's Owner. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 40. The Husky's owner. After finishing his other work, Luo Ao returned to his office and opened the advertising footage for the Chang'an Group's Tremere series of aged liquor. Sinking into his chair, Luo Ao watched the footage quietly once and then pondered for a few seconds before clicking the mouse to watch it again. He rarely watched videos repeatedly, he would only do so when he felt aesthetically pleased. In the footage, a secluded and elegant swordswoman in the bamboo forest held a sword in one hand and had a bright green Trimeresurus snake crawling in the other. The contrast between the swordswoman's slender and fair fingers and the lush green color of the snake created an extremely intense visual impact. After a few seconds of eye contact between the woman and the snake, the central focus of the scene shifted to jars of anciently brewed wine. The camera then turned to the swordswoman elegantly and freely drinking a bowl of wine, her cold eyes showing a hint of carefree relaxation. The background showed green mountains and bamboo forests, making the entire scene look like an ancient landscape painting, leaving a lingering impression on viewers. After completing the advertisement shoot, Xia Xian's bank balance suddenly increased, making her feel as if she had become a little rich woman. During Xia Xian's days off, she took her parents to buy some new clothes. Although Gu Fan complained about wasting money, his smile grew brighter, and the wrinkles around his eyes smoothed out. At Xia Xian's request, the government-allocated housing had already been sold for over 400,000 yuan. Gu Fan planned to use this money to buy a new house for Xia Xian in the city, while Xia Song wanted to buy her a car to make it easier for her to come home in the future. Although their opinions differed, they both intended to save the money for Xia Xian, which deeply moved her. With the money from selling the house and the earnings from the advertisement, Xia Xian had enough for a down payment on a house in the city. However, she had not decided yet whether she wanted to buy one. Perhaps it was because she had died once already, she no longer attached much importance to material possessions like a house. Since she was reborn, Xia Xian felt she should make good use of this advantage. She planned to look for some good investment projects and try them out with the money she had. With her current full-time job and the part-time job walking Jing Mo's dogs, she could save a considerable amount of money each month. Although it could not compare to being a millionaire, it was enough to provide her parents with a worry-free life and comfortable retirement. Xia Xian felt quite satisfied with her life. "Miss, here's your baked buns." The voice of the baked bun stall owner brought Xia Xian back to reality. She took the baked buns and handed them to Bobo. Xia Xian could not understand why Bobo liked to eat baked buns. Even Lael did not eat baked buns anymore, but Bobo still enjoyed them every day. But ever since they started coming out to eat baked buns every day, Bobo seemed to be in a much better mood. Jing Mo said it no longer got up in the middle of the night to wreck things. Xia Xian left with Bobo and Lael, not noticing that the baked bun stall owner took out his phone and took a picture of her with her two dogs. 2 days later, Xia Xian saw a popular video on the homepage of a live.stream app. In the video, a girl in a loose casual dress was walking two dogs and bought a baked bun for the husky next to her. For several consecutive days, the girl would come over every evening with her two dogs and buy a baked bun for the husky. That girl was Xia Xian, and the husky was Bobo. The video had already reached 1.02 million likes, and in the comments section, netizens found it very intriguing. Just how tasty is that baked bun? It makes a husky come over every day. It's rare to see such a dedicated husky. My husky at home says this is an act, no husky would eat baked buns every day. Has no one noticed? It seems that the owner of that husky is Xia Xian. Am I not mistaken? It's really Xia Xian. Whether it was because of the netizens' curiosity or Xia Xian's popularity, the video's popularity continued to rise. Of course, netizens also found the husky in the video to be silly and adorable. No husky could run over every day like clockwork to eat a baked bun. Netizens quickly gave Bobo a nickname and called him Bun Boy. Xia Xian looked through the comments section, feeling complicated. The baked bun stall owner documented the interesting events in life, and she could not blame him. It was understandable that netizens enjoyed seeing something interesting. As for herself, it was not the first time Xia Xian had been in the spotlight. But the only problem was, the netizens thought Bobo was her husky now. If they found out that Jing Mo was Bobo's real owner,